guess I'll, oh, yeah, I gotta adjust my screen so then people can see me better. Yeah, I might as well start off with what Ski said last week about being Gandalf. Had to look it up. Found out it's from Lord of the Rings. And I've been called worse. There was an asshole classmate that I thought was my friend in high school that wanted to call me a different Lord of the Rings character, Gollum, just because I was one of the rare people that had a class ring. And no, it was not flattering because he was the one that said, "My precious," and he wanted the ring back. And Gandalf, I mean, he's the man. I mean,
yeah,
you shall not pass. I'm the type that would enjoy saying that to people because there's this bottle cap that somebody gave me at a former job I had, which said, they superimposed my name on it, and it said, "Lyle has spoken, try again." And that was a dude that I called Jukebox because he was always singing at work. And he was the type that would go online when the Twins were in the playoffs. And at work, he'd give us batter by batter updates. And it's like, dude, do you think you're going to have a job much longer if you're obviously not working when you're just telling people about the Twins in the playoffs? I mean, can't you wait until the end of the workday to find out how the Twins are doing? I guess not. I liked finding out the spelling on Gandalf as well because, of course, I have to think a little too much like my old man. I called him over the weekend, and yeah, he's good for comedy material, even though that's not why I call him. And he's obsessed with World War II history. He was born on the tail end of World War II, the day the Japanese surrendered Okinawa, and he speaks of Adolf all the time. I find out Gandalf and Adolf, no, it's not spelled the same way. And I know it can be confusing about the different ways of spelling words on if they spell it with an F or a PH, because I've seen Adolf spelled with a PH as well, like Adolf Rupp, the basketball coach for the Kentucky Wildcats. Yeah, I guess I have to be a linguist if I'm going to be a storyteller, public speaker, or stand-up comic. I have to decide yet what I am. I mean, I'm the type that's a storyteller. There might be a joke in there. Some people tell me I don't tell jokes or I don't have punchlines. And I had an answer for them. I said, a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? I do. I don't do requests. I haven't seen them in a while either. Yeah, knock-knock jokes are bottom of the barrel, but I had to come up with something as a comeback to them. I know that when I was young, I said, why can't I match wits like these people on sitcoms? And then I found out I could. I just had to give myself half a chance, like seeing, Carla on Cheers, or one of the bailiffs on Night Court who was always making jokes at the expense of the other bailiff, Bull, the tall, bald guy. Roz, yeah, her character name was Roz. I know somebody was going to tell me if I didn't find out on my own. Yeah. So, yeah, there was Gone. All right, moving on to the regular scheduled jokes. 2-movie weekend, still doing that because that seems to be available. Yes, there we go. Thank you, Amiel. I know sometimes it makes a difference on cultures, on the different spellings of names. Like K. Carl and C. Carl. There we go. Because I knew a Sunday school teacher that spoke about that, where he said K. Carl was more Germanic. He went with C. Carl because he was more French. Yeah, I hadn't thought about him in a while. He was a radio man in my hometown. Yeah, 2-movie weekend, that still seems to be the best bet on what to do when a lot of things aren't happening right now. And I even spoke about that with my old man, where I said, yeah, the movie theater's still closed. I don't mind because I have to deal with a lot of idiots at movie theaters. Like when I saw the movie Motherless Brooklyn, I was next to somebody who wanted to keep laughing whenever the Ed Norton character had his nervous tics, having Tourette syndrome. That's not funny to me. But I know I'm not like everybody else. I mean, I try to go to cold hard facts, and other people go by emotions. So yeah, 2-movie weekend. I saw 2 Minutes of Fame because it's like, oh, it's about stand-up comedy. I have to see it. It was all right, not that great. And then the other one was The Scout, a much older movie. baseball movie, but yeah, just like with the stand-up comedy movie, I've seen better ones, but at least I had experience of it. I mean, I am familiar with how some actors, the only role they can play, especially if they're a non-actor, is themselves. And of course, that's true with a sports movie. They have to have non-actors playing athletes. Yeah, there we go. I still see weird things when I'm out walking. Like when I was going into my job, I saw a romance novel on top of one of those big blue mailboxes. About halfway through, they just plopped it down on its spine, and it's like, yeah, it's a romance novel. I read one page in it. I could tell that right away. And then it was still there when I came out at the end of my workday. And then a day later, of course, it got wet because it was still out there when it rained. It's like, I'd like to know that story about how that romance novel got there. I mean, did they think it was too good to put down, but they had to? I don't know. Maybe I'm just better off doing my own story about it, which is going to be better than the real one. Yeah, I don't read a lot of romance novels. I think they're more for ladies. Air cans at work. I have to use those every so often because of the machines I work on, because I print checks and they need to go out on time or we get fined. And one of my blog entries in the past week was how they're more than just paperweights. Most days, that's what they are. But some days, yes, I have to use those air cans because I want to get rid of the dust so I can keep the machine running. And those cans get cold when you use them a lot. So I have to be aware of that. Just cold to the touch. I guess there are other times where you have to blow dust off things. I know that when my brother would play Nintendo games, he would do that with some of those cartridges. Whatever you do to keep going. I call it mind-numbing activities to play video games. I didn't want to get addicted, so I stopped. I like finding knowledge anywhere. As the saying goes, as we seek, so shall we find. That was a line in a Blues Traveler song. I know it's also from the Bible. It's very true. So I watched an infomercial that was on after the 6 o'clock news this weekend on WCCO. It was about Time Life music, love songs from the 50s and 60s. And it's like, well, even if I don't buy the music, I still like listening to it. Some of it I might already have on compilation CDs. I don't know. And the thing I learned about it was Bobby V and Bobby Vinton are not the same person. Sometimes that can happen where two famous people have almost the same name. I know that happened when, Jerry Lewis died, where some of my fellow comics want to make jokes about it. I wanted to say that Jerry Lewis and Jerry Lee Lewis were the same person when they're not. But anything for a joke. Yeah, I'm not a typical comic. I already know about that. I guess we'll leave you on another theme that I've been doing cleanup around my home. I went through another box. It's probably the last one I hadn't went through yet. And there were all these greeting cards in it. I think the farthest back was basically when I graduated from high school, and that's still been almost 30 years. And I was surprised some of the finds I made just looking through that. I figured, there were some pictures in there put in photo albums. Yeah, that was one of the finds I made. But I also found a $20 bill that was birthday money from my dad from 2006, over a decade ago. It's like, wow, how did I pass over that? I don't know. The only one where I still found money in it. Oh, and the other find that I made was a loyalty card for Borders Bookstore. Yeah, that's been a while because they're out of business. And I know I've talked about other defunct loyalty cards, like how I found 2 more stamps years later for my Subway Sub Club card. But hey, it's a nice souvenir. I'm a history major. I want to have proof that things used to be a certain way. Yeah, that'll do it for me. Thank you all. Been great.
Yay! Thank you, Lon.